Shakur Stevenson beats them all.
What's your reaction to that? Hey.
Well, maybe. In 2023, we finally started to see some of the other top lightweights compete against each other. Recently, saw Tank Davis take on Ryan Garcia and Devin Haney versus Lomachenko. But going off watching these fights, I still think Shakur Stevenson's overall skill set and ring IQ give him the best chance to beat all the top guys at 135 pounds. However, that's not to say Shakur Stevenson is unbeatable, and it's not like he has the knockout power of a Tank Davis or even a Ryan Garcia. In this video, I want to explore the talent of Shakur Stevenson and give you a compelling argument as to why he possesses the potential to conquer all the top guys at 135 pounds. Now, before I dive into the battle of skills and strategies against the other potential opponents, it's important to recognise the foundation upon Stevenson's dominance is built. His technical mastery, lightning fast hand speed coupled with his exceptional defensive abilities allows him to outmaneuver opponents and dictate the tempo and rhythm of the fight. But that just doesn't stop Shakur Stevenson, as his ring IQ is something to behold. He is someone that possesses an innate understanding of the sweet science and is capable of adapting to his style to nullify any opponent's strength, while his footwork is subtle, always moving in perfect balance and distance to control the range of the fight. Not only that, he's already a 2-weight world champion and now competing in his 3rd. I would be shocked if he doesn't win another world title in that division. However, as much as Stevenson has impressed me thus far, I must acknowledge myself that his chin and heart are still to be tested. And although Stevenson has been able to showcase his skills against the opponents to date, he's been very well matched by Top Rank, with the biggest punchers to date probably being Oscar Valdez and Yoshino, and let's be honest, both of them were pretty straightforward and comfortable for Stevenson, as Teddy Atlas points out.
Talented guys like Stevenson, so talented, so talented. You're gonna put him in with these handpicked. No, the fans are gonna vote with their feet. Then they want to at least see him in with somebody compelling, in there with somebody that has a chance, to threaten them. And these guys don't. Yeah, I should think it, because it's the same freaking thing.
But now let's look at the top guys that he could potentially fight one day and how I think it would play out. After watching Ryan against Tank Davis, a southpaw with technical proficiency and counterpunching skills, for me it's a no-brainer Stevenson would completely outbox and counterpunch Ryan Garcia, especially if Ryan tried to walk down Shakur like he did Tank Davis. And I could honestly see Shakur slowly break down Ryan over the rounds and give him an even worse beating than Tank Davis did. And sure, Ryan's speed could be an issue, but going off the difference in level between Ryan and Tank, Shakur wins that hands down in my opinion. However, with Ryan moving up to 140 pounds, the size difference might cause problems. But personally, I think Shakur will probably have to move up to 140 at some point if he wants to get these big fights. After his unanimous decision over Lomachenko, he is definitely the villain of the month right now, and this is no doubt a fight Shakur Stevenson will be looking to get at some point. Now, going off the fight Haney had with Lomachenko, he did struggle with the southpaw stance of the Ukrainian, while Loma was able to get off a lot of left-hand straights on Devin Haney, and because of that, I honestly see Shakur having no issues landing his own on him. Stylistically, they are both similar in that they prefer fighting as outboxers and counterpunching while using the lead hand, but the obvious difference is the southpaw orthodox matchup. However, have you ever watched a clip of the two of them sparring? And yes, I know it's sparring, however for me in this clip, Stevenson looks the much more comfortable of the two, and is able to counter Haney and control him with the lead hand. Not to mention at the time of that sparring clip, Stevenson was the smaller of the two. Now that's not to say Haney could potentially make it a difficult night, and it also depends on the weight Haney wishes to fight at going forward. But let's be real, Devin would probably look to try get the size advantage over Shakur, and even still, I think his technical skills and ring IQ are simply superior to Devin Haney's. You just need to even watch Stevenson up against Ugas sparring in preparation for his fight against Errol Spence. And once again, Shakur looks comfortable in there with a much bigger man with vast experience. So personally, I really don't think the size will be a difference, even if Shakur needs to move up to 140 pounds. For Lomachenko, we all know he brings a very high level of boxing IQ to the table, especially with his use of creating angles and his offensive creativity. And it would be naive to say that he wouldn't make it a close fight. And we're yet to see Stevenson in with someone fighting at the high pace Lomachenko does, and with that ring IQ. The two even sparred each other at one point, and in interviews, Stevenson appeared to be very confident in how those sparring sessions went.
I did real good with Lomachenko. It was a real good sparring. Me and him ended up going 12 rounds straight 7 times. He was basically trying to break me, but ain't no breaking me. I'm a real good fighter. I don't got no breaking point. I don't got no. I quit. He was definitely at the top of his game, and he went in there. He stopped, break it down. But like I said, I'm different, man. I'm one of them great fighters that come around every once in a while. And
now, as we saw versus Devin Haney, Lomachenko was able to cause many problems in this fight against a similar style fighter in Shakur. However, there would be another dynamic of southpaw versus southpaw, which would be fascinating to see. Stevenson's defensive skills and his ring IQ could nullify Lomachenko's offensive onslaught, and his ability to slip punches, counter effectively, could make it difficult for Lomachenko to find his rhythm and get into range. Stevenson's footwork is equally impressive, allowing him to pivot and change directions with Lomachenko, thus disrupting Lomachenko's usual control of the ring. Plus, as we saw in the Teofimo and Haney fight, Lomachenko doesn't seem to like those body shots, and I'm sure Shakur would try to target that. Personally, I think it's a battle that would capture the attention of fans, but whether Loma would want to jump in with Shakur is yet to be seen. And that brings us to Gervonta Davis, the wild card in the deck for me anyway, who possesses the thunderous knockout power that could prove to be the ultimate challenge for Shakur Stevenson. Obviously, there's lots of similarities between the two. Davis can be just as slick an operator as Stevenson, and I make the argument that Tank is probably just a little bit more ill-disciplined than Stevenson and more likely to get hit. However, saying that, Tank has godly power, and if push comes to shove, I could see him connecting on Shakur at some point. And we are yet to see Stevenson's chin and heart tested, as I mentioned earlier in this video. However, saying that, Shakur is the type of talent where I could see him box to a very disciplined game plan and frustrate Tank from getting any work off. And Stevenson would want to stop Davis from being able to get off his trademark power shots. Stevenson's footwork and strategic approach could also nullify Davis' aggression if he had to force the fight on Stevenson's terms. And even Ryan Garcia said the following about what it would take to beat Tank, and I couldn't help but be reminded of Shakur.
I think my problem was I got a little too impatient, and Davis was good. I think he does struggle with activity. I know he caught me with a good shot, but I think somebody that is just a little bit more disciplined than me and has a little bit more activity can give him a lot of problems. But you can't count him out because he has great power. So you just got to be careful with Gervonta and play it smart. I didn't play it smart. I started getting bored in there, and I just started trying to press, and I ended up getting knocked out. So that was my mistake.
All that being said, Gervonta Davis is not to be underestimated. His explosiveness and ability to close the distance swiftly present a huge, unique challenge for Stevenson that he is yet to encounter in his pro career. If Davis can land just one of those signature power shots, it could test Stevenson's resilience and heart, revealing whether he has what it takes to weather the storm and come out victorious. Personally, out of all the fights, Shakur Stevenson and Gervonta Davis is the clash of styles I would love to see. Stevenson's technical finesse or Davis's explosive power, and it would undoubtedly be a high stakes encounter that could determine who's the best of this generation.
Some of your 135 contemporaries have a lot to say these days. Shakur Stevenson, well, of course he's now 135 after all that stuff, and then Devin Haney.
Right, so why people even talk like he the best at, he didn't even fight at 135 yet.
Right.
He didn't even have power at 126, 30 or none of that. How can you stop people that can actually hit No matter all that boxing, you going to get hit. What you gonna do when you get hit?
Now, I couldn't forget about the other lightweights that are currently in the division and contenders that could pose a potential future challenge for Shakur Stevenson. And the lightweight division is filled with an array of formidable talents that will be wanting a title shot at some point. There's fighters such as Frank Martin, William Zepeda, Isaac Cruz, Sean Davis, and hey, even the Cuban sensation Andy Cruz are among the emerging stars that could have the potential to shake up the division and challenge Shakur. For example, Frank Martin has displayed exceptional skills himself and has been showcasing his power and accuracy with each bout, where William Zepeda has showed his relentless pressure and knockout power, and Isaac Cruz with his relentless aggression as well could be problems for Shakur Stevenson. And of course, we can't forget about the Olympic standouts in Sean Davis, who has transitioned into professional ranks with flair and showcased his speed, technique and ring intelligence to date, while Andy Cruz, whose incredible amateur pedigree and technical brilliance have the potential to pose a challenge to Shakur at some point. And while all these rising stars may not be an immediate focus of today's discussion, they are undoubtedly part of the dynamic mix that makes the lightweight division so exciting, and I'm sure many of them at some point will get their chance. Now, obviously in my boxing channel, and we all have different opinions on who would beat who, and upsets happen all the time. Hey, styles make fights after all. And although I feel Shakur Stevenson is the best of the bunch due to his technical brilliance, superior ring IQ, that's not to say someone can't test his chin and heart at some point. And personally, Tank Davis, in my opinion, is the guy to do that. However, there are so many other top guys coming up through the ranks at 135 pounds, and Shakur could meet another formidable challenge at some point. Hey, he might even need to move up to 140 pounds to get the bigger fights. And you never know, the size might just be an issue for him at some point. Nevertheless, when you hear someone like Terence Crawford praise him the way he does, you can't help but take notice.
I'm saying Shakur beat everybody. It don't matter who it is, Shakur beating them, so it don't matter. Man, that boy's special. That boy's special, man. Shakur's, you know what I mean, one of a kind, you know what I mean? He adapt to every fighter, and then once he adapt to you, it's a long night.
But yeah guys, I'd love to hear your thoughts on Shakur Stevenson and the lightweight division. Who do you think has the best chance in beating him? And what fight would you like to see Shakur in? This has been Jamie from Boxing Life. You can check out my other Shakur Stevenson videos here. As always guys, thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.